What is going on, everybody? This is Psych Perspectives, GeoFux here, and I'm getting ready to do my early voting. I'm very thankful for the state of Michigan and the groundwork that a lot of grassroots activists, organizers, political and social and economic organizers who on the ground years ago, decades ago, centuries ago, okay, people in general have organized and fought for us to have the rights and freedoms and liberties that we have. And we need to stop taking, I wish more of us would stop taking it for granted. Little brief story before I get ready to do my early voting. My granny is from Arkansas. My papa was from Mississippi. They both grew up in Jim Crow down south. Okay, Arkansas, Mississippi. So for them, even when they turned 18, they still couldn't vote because the Voter Rights Act wasn't passed until 1965. Now, even though men, white cis men have always been able to vote, right? But even then, it was white cis men with property, with land, with wealth, who were allowed to vote at the very beginning of the United States of America. Black men, right, if we're going to look at it from that stand, black men, men of color, didn't get to vote until the late 1800s. Remember, the country, right? The country, Independence Day, July 4th, 1776. Remember that, right? Remember that. But only white cis men with money, with land, with property could vote. Black men, enslaved men, indigenous Native American men, men of color did not have that right in the USA. Enslaved people did not have that right in the USA. And those enslaved people were people, descendants from Africa, African slaves. And for a lot of black people who are from here, who live here, those enslaved people are our ancestors. Those are our great, 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 great. So the point is, everybody didn't have the right. Women, right? White cis women, because like I said, even when white cis women gained the right to vote in the 1920s, like 150 years or so after the creation of the independence of America, the United States of America, North America, you know, they finally got, white cis women were finally given the right in the 1920s. Black people in general. Now, mind you, we were voting. The black men were voting once those rights were given in the late 1800s. Keep that in mind. Information all in the description box below. I have no reason to lie to you. The point is, rights like this, we have to fight for. People's lives were taken, killed, murdered, slaughtered. Entire communities were burned down to the ground and continued and continued. People were assassinated. People lost their families, their money, their jobs. People lost everything to gain a lot of these rights and freedoms and liberties that so many of us, in my opinion, take for granted, don't really cherish, don't really understand. And that's by design, honestly, in my opinion. But anyways, The point is, I grew up in a household where not only was voting very important, and voting locally, at the local level, at your state level, and at your federal level. All three are very important. But think about it. If your local ain't right, your state ain't gonna be right. And if your state ain't right, your federal ain't gonna be right. And honestly, if your federal ain't right, your globally ain't gonna be right, because we're all a part of this world, of this planet, of this ecosystem. And if you got an issue at the core, your local, you're gonna have an issue going into the state, going up and up and up. So all of these elections and candidates and positions have a value, and likely will be impacting your life a lot. Anyways, I'm about to go in here and cast my ballot to vote.